All right, welcome everybody to a new episode of the Guardian Tabloids. My name is Doc3307, and I am your official host on the Out of Batteries on Erick on Mars podcast. Last time we talked was about the beginning of Lightfall, the day before Lightfall started, and what we were hoping for. And the reason it took me a week and a day to finally come up with my thoughts on the game is because it got so many bad reviews. It got a lot of review. It got a lot of mixed reviews, not bad reviews, mixed reviews. Some people didn't like the story. Some people didn't like the gameplay. Some people didn't like Strand, the new abilities. But I think a lot of it, unfortunately, is because it is following up a big DLC where part of a story ended. Our battle with Savathun ended in Witch Queen. So when something ends, it's huge, Like with Avengers Endgame. It was a huge ending. We got all the answers and it had an ending. But now it's an opening. Lightfall's an opening, and everybody seems to think that it's an ending, and they're hoping to get all the answers that they've been looking for about the witness, about the pyramids, about darkness. And we now know, after Lightfall, absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing is what we know. We got introduced to a couple new characters, Nimbus and his shoot, I forgot his name. His name was is no, not is was Ker Rohan. Ha! Rohan. So we got introduced to Nimbus and Rohan, and we got introduced to Neptune. In the first mission, under first contact, we sneak aboard Talos' ship and try to infiltrate it, and we then launch ourselves out to Neptune. We sneak aboard a ship. It wasn't Callus's ship. We sneak aboard a ship heading towards Neptune, and then we kind of sabotage it, and we fly out of there in Cabal balls, and we go to Neptune. And that's where we land on Neptune, and we run around. We run into Strand for the first time, and then we meet Nimbus and Rohan. And that's the first contact mission. Then we go to Under Siege. Under Siege is where we run around on Neptune, and we fight some big dude that keeps dropping balls everywhere. We also find out that there's suppression fields where we can't use our abilities. We can only use our abilities. We can't use our supers. So that's kind of that makes you fight with only weapons, and that's pretty cool. I thought that was pretty cool. Fight him the old-fashioned way, Guardian, Ghost said. And then we go to Downfall. Downfall was a pretty fun mission. I think overall all the missions were fun. Compared to Witch Queen, because that's what everybody was doing, comparing it to Witch Queen. And which is something I didn't want to do because I knew that this was the beginning of the story between us and the witness, and Witch Queen was the end of a story. So it's kind of how do I put it? It's kind of like judging the end of uh what was it? Let's say the end of Game of Thrones against the beginning of the new show. That's a spin-off of Game of Thrones. You know, like, oh, you say, oh, well, Game of Thrones is just better. Well, yeah, we know the whole story over there. Over here, we're just opening up the story, and I think that's where people need to kind of give it a minute. You know, like that's how you open up a storyline is by making people have questions. So just to go over the missions real quick. Downfall. We go into Callus's ship finally, and we try to find what we find. And then we fight this dude. Well, we're gonna fight this dude, but then we're gonna die, and Keitel saves us. Then we go into Breakneck. Breakneck is where we first start messing around with Strand, kinda. And so we're introduced to our Strand abilities in Breakneck, and then on the Verge, we we start trying to master Strand. Strand is becoming more and more of what we need to win this battle with Callus. No Time Left is also another mission where we're trying to master Strand and trying to stop Callus from getting to what we now are introduced to, the Veil. And we get to ride tanks, we get to freaking fight big dudes. Headlong. Headlong. I believe Headlong is where we master Strand. We master Strand and Headlong, finally. And we go into the training program. And with the spinning thing and all the Vex. And then Ghost is like, oh, we could do that. We could do that a second time. Shut up, Ghost! That shit was hard. Especially when you're going with the wrong loadout. Jesus. Then we go Desperate Measures' final mission, which I feel Desperate Measures, the middle part where we're fighting with Keitel at the front of Callus's ship against the tanks and the army coming in, it's freaking awesome. I thought that was amazing. That was an amazing fight right there. But that's it. There was 8 missions. They were pretty lengthy, and they were. I mean, if you played on Legend mode, they weren't difficult. They were a little more challenging. If you were by yourself, it wasn't too challenging. But if you had 3 people, the enemies were a little beefy. You know what I'm saying? They were nice and beefy. But that being said, overall, I enjoyed the campaign. The story is separate from the gameplay, right? The gameplay was great. The fights were great. The updates to how everything felt was great. The switching between fighting Cabal, fighting Vex, fighting Cabal, fighting Vex, because Vex are invading Neptune all the time. And we're going there because the Cabal are on the way. The Cabal didn't know they were on the way to Neptune. The only reason that we are going to Neptune is because Homeboy, the witness, went and touched the Traveler and found out, oh, hey, where's the Veil? It's in Neptune. So that's why we're on Neptune. So we're going to run into a lot of stuff because we're going into Neptune and there's already stuff going on in Neptune. So we're going to have to deal with the stuff that we're going after and the stuff that we're going to run into. That's my take on the gameplay part. Although also Strand is amazing. I know at the beginning it was a little like, oh, Strand's terrible after the story because there's no the regeneration on the abilities is just bad. So what Bungie did was open up all the fragments and stuff pre-raid so everybody could see, hey, Strand is not what you think it is. You just need to give it time. And I think just like that, you need to give the story time. So the story side, a lot of people are upset because they're not told what the Veil is. There's no questions being answered, and I understand, you know, because we got used to everything got answered in Witch Queen, and now nothing's answered. Nothing at all is answered, right? We don't know why we're going after the Veil. We don't know what Strand is. And we don't. What else don't we know? We don't know much about the New Mooney, other than they aren't a living society. They are a like I guess cryptosis. I don't know. Like they're in a chamber. Their bodies are in a chamber, and they're just holograms. That's it. Give me a second. Okay, I'm back. So the things that most people are upset with is that, like we said, we don't know what the Veil is. We don't know why we're going after it. We were just going after it because Homeboy is going after it, so we were gonna try to beat him to it. We don't know what happens. You know, we just don't know anything really, and I can understand why people are upset about that. I'm not upset about it because I like the questions and I like being left in suspense. Is that weird? You just like being left in suspense. Like, bro, what? For a whole year? You kidding me? But no, it's not. Because I think that we're gonna get answers throughout the year. We're gonna get answers to what everything is. Just like season of the pirate ships 2 seasons ago. Season of Plunder. We were getting these jars with remains of Nezarec. And guess who freaking whispering in our ear in the middle of Neptune while we're killing a bunch of Vex? This time. Nezarec. So they opened questions on who the hell is Nezarec? Well, now he's whispering in our ear on Neptune. So now we're going to be able to put all the pieces together and we're going to go fight this fucker. Probably in the raid. But we need to be patient. I think we need to be patient with Lightfall and determining what the Veil is. Now, one thought that came to my head earlier when I was watching a video, Dotto's video, on the Veil. The Veil is kind of like the Traveler, the ghost said. It's like, I have this strange feeling. It gives me the same feeling that the Traveler did. Kind of thing. To paraphrase. So I was sitting there and I was like, well, wait a minute. Didn't Savathun have something to do with why the Veil is on Neptune? You see where I'm going? See, so the thing we're doing right now in the game is trying to figure out what the veil is, right? Because we're going after blueprints of the Black Heart, which is thought to be a replica of the veil that was made in the garden, right? So if Savathun had something to do with putting the veil on Neptune, then that's the story right there. You can't tell us what the veil is if you're going to wake up Savathun, because then there's going to be no reason to wake up Savathun. But if we know that Savathun is the one that put the veil on Neptune, and we need to know what the veil is, well, guess who we got to wake up? Because, yes, Savathun is dead, but she has a ghost. She's a guardian. She's a guardian. She can be rezzed. We just need to get our ghost to be like, hey, bro, pick her up. We need to talk to her. So that's where my head went when after I I wanted to do the review right after I finished the campaign on one character, but I couldn't. I couldn't because there were so many questions. I had so many questions, and I just came to the conclusion that we need to give it time. We need to give it time for the seasons to answer the questions. And then I thought, well, who the fuck put the veil? Didn't Savathun put the veil on Neptune? And if the answer to that is yes, then we know how we're gonna we'll get the answers. We gotta go wake up Savathun. Now I'm not a lore expert at all whatsoever. Probably wrong, but yeah, I think that's where we're headed. I think that's where we're headed. I think that's and if it is so, then I'm excited for it. And if it's not, well, I'm still gonna be excited for it. The way I see this, the way I see Lightfall is like Avengers, not Endgame, but Infinity War. Okay, everybody wanted Endgame, and we got Infinity War. So basically, we killed Callus, but Homeboy still got the Traveler. There's basically like we put an axe in Thanos' chest, but he still snapped. It's the same thing. You know? And on that note, let's talk about the Witness. You know what I realized about the Witness in Lightfall? He doesn't give a crap about us. He can give two cares about who the hell we are. He didn't call us Guardians. He didn't call us the Guardian. He just said a couple of Souls Defenders aren't going to stop fate. Which, by the way, is very Thanos-y. That's all he said. That's the only time he ever referenced us or made us or talked about us, cared about us. He didn't care. He was there for the veil and nothing else. So he can link it with the Traveler and make the portal he made and go through it to make the final shape. He did not care about us. he was not afraid of us. Because we saw at the beginning of Lightfall, he went like this. Where's my camera? He went like this. And our fucking ghost split into pieces. He didn't give a shit. Like, this man was being attacked by a fleet of freaking ships, and all he did was go deleted. Everything got fucking deleted. He went, and everything died, except for Holiday. So how we're supposed to beat him, I have no fucking idea. But I will tell you, he didn't care about us, and that's what reminded me of Avengers. Is Thanos sent his troops to Earth to get the stones. He didn't care that there was Avengers here. He didn't give two shits about Avengers. He wants the stones to do what he needs to do. He knows he's more powerful than anything in the world or in the universe. Just wants his stones. No care for Avengers? No, Thanos didn't care about the Avengers. He wasn't afraid of them. It's the same thing with this guy. He's not afraid of the Guardian, and he showed it in the game. Like, a couple of Souls defenders aren't going to stop fate. But somebody says that a couple of Souls defenders, they don't even call you Guardians, because that's what you are. A couple of Souls defenders. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Those are my thoughts on Lightfall. I would depending on what you want to get out of the game, it's great. I thought it was great. I thought the campaign was great. The difficulty on the legend modes was great. Overall, it was great. There's so much to do. The new activity, Overload, Escalation Overload, is pretty fun. The after game stuff, there's a lot of little missions to run. That's pretty fun. There's a lot of weapons that we got already. There's six exotic weapons that dropped that you can get. There's so much to do on a DLC drop. It's amazing. I love it. I love DLC drops. Seasonal ones, not so much. I wish they would work on that. But the DLC drop is fun. Would I advise someone that hasn't played this game in a long time to come in right now? Yes, DLCs are the best time to start playing again if you want to play again. However, if you're looking for the best storyline in the world, this isn't it. This is just opening up the best storyline. Now, I will say this. I'm okay with all the questions left unanswered. But that just means that the next DLC is going to have to be huge. Because it's the last one. Like, dude, we're going to probably need like 28 missions in the next DLC. Because there's a lot of questions that need to be answered between now and New Shape. Or the final shape. New shape, stupid. The final shape. So they got some questions to be answered. They got, 4 seasons this year? 3 or 4 seasons until final shape comes out. And then that's it. But hopefully they do answer those questions, and I hope everybody gives Lightfall more patience. Or I hope everybody gives Bungie more patience to answer these questions that we all have. Also, I'm looking at this picture. It has been bothering the shit out of me. Whoever's playing this is definitely running 2 pulse rifles. And I cannot recommend that. I've been looking at this picture for 49 minutes, and I cannot recommend that loadout. Okay, I'm back. Anyway. So that's my thoughts on Lightfall. Overall, great campaign. 49 minutes. 49 minutes and 54 seconds. 55? 56. Overall, great campaign. I would recommend it if you want like Destiny and were thinking about buying it. I would say buy the $49.99 one first, and then invest in the rest of the seasons if you like it. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. Strand is awesome. The new abilities are awesome. The new weapons are pretty cool. Nimbus. Let's talk about Nimbus for a second. Everybody hates Nimbus. Not everybody, but people hate Nimbus, and I disagree. I think he's pretty cool. He's a goof ass. I do have one critique about Lightfall though. At the end, there's one mission where we go in and Rohan dies. He sacrifices himself to save the Veil. Because the Veil powers Neptune. So he basically sacrifices himself for his people. He doesn't do it for us. He doesn't do it for the Traveler. He does it for his people. Because he knows if the Veil gets destroyed, his people will die. So he sacrifices himself, and because there is no kind of storyline that connects us, because there was no link between us and Rohan, it made that scene where he sacrificed himself, it made it kind of awkward, because yes, the feeling was there of, oh shit, this dude just died, but there was a feeling of, oh my god, Rohan. There was no, oh my god, Rohan. What do we do? It was W human. Thank you, Jen. It was more of a, oh shit, this guy just killed himself. But, and then, so, Nimbus asks us to bring in his core, and we take in the core, and it's a little bit of somber, and then he starts making jokes, which is okay. I mean, Nimbus is a rookie. He's a young kid. His coping mechanism is going to be to try to make a joke. You know, that's the coping mechanism of a lot of people, is make a joke. I know that's my coping mechanism. With something serious, I make a joke because it feels uncomfortable. So I guess if you understand it in that, you look at it in that perspective, you understand, like, okay, he made a joke. But the one I didn't get was at the very end. You go talk to Zavala and Ikora, and they're fine. The Traveler just died. The Traveler is their god. It's who they look to for survival. It's who gave them the light. He just died. And they're just like, he's dead? Should I be thankful? Or should I be sad? And then Ikora's like, we will do this with or without the Traveler. Like, they're in good spirits, even though the sky is full of pyramids, and this dude just waved his fingers and knocked out half our fleet, and then went and drew a freaking triangle on our Traveler and walked through it. And they're cool with it? Like, they're just cool. There's no panic. They're cool. Now, I don't know if that's good leadership or they're just maybe in denial, maybe grieving, and they're in denial that the traveler's dead because it's still there in the sky. Like maybe he's not dead and we just think he is, but we know he's not. Is that a thing? But yeah, those are things. There's those are some of the my questions about Lightfall were the end. The way Zavala and Ikora reacted to the traveler's death, it was weird. I was like, hmm, I thought Zavala would be more upset about it. I thought Ikora would be more upset about it, but they weren't. They were in decent spirits. Ikora even was even in positive spirit. Like, we'll get there with or without the traveler. Like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah. So those are my thoughts on Destiny 2's Lightfall. And we got the raid coming up this weekend. Good luck to all the teams competing in it. In the world first. Starts Friday at 11 Central, 9 Pacific. Good luck to everybody. I will be rooting for you all. Hopefully Dotto gets a win this year. Finally. But I hope the best wishes to everyone in the competing in the world's first raid. And that's gonna be it for us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. You can catch our live streams on twitch.tv/Doc3307. Thank you for listening. This is the Guardian Tabloids, and we appreciate you all.